Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the Hub City in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi. And one of the people joining me this evening is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on? Hey, it's not just you and I. You know what I mean? It's great when it is the two of us. Even better when it's the three of us with the full-time part-timer Ian Garavaglia live on location in a Motel 6.
It's actually what is it? A garden? What is it? Hilton Garden Inn is what it's called. I'm very tired.
That's mid-card hotel.
Yeah, no, and I'm fine with the mid card. I'm not I don't want to shoot for the moon right now. Hilton Garden Inn has been doing me justice. Besides the internet being out up until this day, so shout out to the internet for working finally. Watching the Tigers game. Yeah, watching the Tigers game over here. Almost every single day, I see new Tigers fans coming in to the hotel, and this place is packed now.
Well, you are in the Detroit area, so that makes a lot of sense that there's a lot of Tigers fans over there. But are they winning? Are the Tigers winning?
No, down one heading into the last inning.
So, that might be going to Game 5, right? Aren't they in Game 4?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been keeping up a little bit with the MLB playoffs. It's been very entertaining. But with all the wrestling that we got to watch, guys, it's kind of hard to watch all the MLB playoffs because it seems like those games are back to back to back. But, Ian, you are on site. I didn't think you were going to make it, but you're here. How we feeling? What's it been like in Michigan for you?
It's been good. The new job, I am loving it. The move down to Indy, I will say next week might be tough for me to actually get on the podcast. But I said that about this week, so there's still a chance. This hour change is murders. Like, it murders podcasters. I don't understand how you could do that. I am completely fried right now. I feel like I already did a podcast, but I was, as Kyle saw earlier, I was sleeping in my bed. Yeah. Correct. But I'm feeling fantastic. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be on the mark, no matter if that's in Northwest Indiana. Actually, speaking of that, we got to fix the intro at some point. I don't know how we're going to manage to do that.
He's not in the middle of nowhere anymore. What are we going to do about that?
I know a fucking guy.
Oh. Is his real name James?
It's me. Hi.
There it is. Tuck, I'm not sure about this comment. It is debatable. He said he is speaking here, is the greatest MVM of all time.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Robbie.
No. Oh, interesting. Robbie is one of them too, but I mean, it's tough to say that Kine is the definitive GOAT.
1000% can be debated, should be debated. One of the most debatable things I've ever experienced. The comment section's popping off. A cast of young and old. We've got legends in here. We've got fresh stars. Saucy Moss in the house. Great Brown Hope. Kine, Robbie, Dirk. Dirk?
Dirk Vogus.
Great
That's
name.
pretty
Well,
good news.
anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk Van Fleet.
You know, he's staying up past his bedtime for us, too. We are starting an hour later. We wanted to make sure that we got Tucky for this episode, and we definitely got him here. So the OTM trio is here to talk a lot of wrestling. But before we do, guys, don't forget to show your love for the OTM podcast and head on over to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. Ian, if you use promo code DREAM this weekend on our merch site, they will save 10% off their order. What are some of the items that they could get at our website?
I mean, you could get anything from the Wrestling Network, the Main Event Wrestling Network, as you could see to your left, or what Kyle's wearing, but towards Kyle's left side of his head, other side, the way we're looking at that thing that he's pointing to right there. You could get the old school logo in a cutoff version as well, which I rock pretty much every time I try to work out now. I keep it clean, But also you get some OTM, you get the tapestry to his right, to the other side, or any of the other designs that we have, including just in time for WrestleDream, the Bryan Danielson appreciation shirt.
That is right. That would be a perfect purchase just because it might be the last time we see Bryan Danielson wrestle here at WrestleDream. But also, guys, don't forget to show some love to the Main Event Wrestling Network. Make sure you're following the network at mainevent_net. On all of the socials. Tucky, you got a question, sir?
No, comment. I think we need to do something with the cream, brown, orange, like the SummerSlam merch. I love my sweatshirt. I love that the cream
T-shirt, yeah.
shirt. You had that. You got the hat in the shirt. Yeah. That's all I got.
We can look into that for sure. I'll have my people talk to the merch people that we have under the OTM umbrella. But yeah, make sure you show some love to everything going on at the Main Event Wrestling Network. We got podcasts, we got blogs, we got YouTube content, we got it all. So make sure you're following us at mainevent_net. Like Ian said, you could also support the network by getting some merchandise at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. And Tuck, in a brief second, there's going to be a QR code that pops up right above your head. If they scan that QR code, what is going to happen?
It's going to take their electronic device on a magical journey to the WWE shop. It's not going to add any money to their purchase. It's not going to cost them a dime to purchase. Cost them an extra dime. Obviously, you got to buy the stuff, but your purchase at the WWE shop through that QR code is going to give us a little chunk of change back to contribute to the podcast. So it doesn't cost you extra, but it does help us. And I got to say, they not the ones probably going to be in my cart soon.
It's a fire shirt. Yeah, we saw that in the main event of Bad Blood. And speaking of Bad Blood, Tuck and I did get an opportunity to recap that on the Main Event Mixer episode 13, which you can find at mainevent_net on YouTube. It actually has become the most viewed Main Event Mixer in our brief history. So obviously a lot of fun content there, but we didn't get to hear Ian's thoughts on things. First off, Ian, did you watch Bad Blood?
Yeah, so it was kind of iffy with me. It was a little weird. Not the actual pay-per-view, my viewing capabilities. I was very tired that Sunday night when I recapped everything, and I already kind of heard everything. Shout out Bleacher Report for spoiling every single happening on a WWE pay-per-view. But I didn't know a few of the matches. There was a couple matches that didn't just click for me. The main event I thought it did what it was supposed to do. I thought it was good. It didn't exceed any expectations. I love the Jimmy Uso coming back return, but it kind of seemed, it wasn't like a shocker, I don't think, for anybody, or at least it wasn't for me.
It's a little bit of a shock for me. I don't know about Tuck.
Dude, the Rock's music didn't hit right after the bell, so there was a little bit of that. And then I'm like, well, Jimmy's back. Like, that's a pop. They might be good,
Right.
So it was a little, because of the order of events, I think it was a little more than I expected to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But Ian, you kind of alluded to it. Like, the middle part of the show was just okay. Like, I get it if you enjoyed a few of those matches, that's fine. But to me, they were all just kind of meh. But the beginning and the end, you start strong, you end strong. I know you haven't been watching his wrestling as long as Tuck and I have, but Ian, where does this Hell in the Cell stack up against other Hell in the Cell matches that you have seen?
Yeah, so I think this year with Hell in a Cell was actually perfect because it wasn't just throwing in your. I mean, I guess you can't really say it wasn't just throwing in your hottest feud because it was. I think it is the hottest feud, or was at the time, like playing hot.
It wasn't forcing a feud into the cell.
Correct. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. It's not a Seth Rollins Bray Wyatt situation, and we know how that went. Obviously, there were other choices that made it a little more detrimental to it, but it just this one felt right, and it felt like this would be those matches that you'd say they need to solve it in a Hell in a Cell, and it obviously worked, and they didn't hold back. It was that much blood in WWE was weird to see again.
It's rare.
Yeah.
It's very rare, and they told a tremendous story throughout. And I hate when people just use weapons for the sake of using weapons. I thought everything was unique in the way that CM Punk and Drew McIntyre used those spots. I mean, for example, look at the table spots. They broke off legs of the tables to use those to, just shove it down Drew's throat. Like, it's just something you don't see all the time. And I went on record on the Mixer saying it was probably my top 5 Hell in a Cell matches. I got some shit from the Junkies today on their show because obviously Mr. OTM hasn't seen anything before 2011. I have a few, but Tuck, I mean, we just don't get to see that often. That brutality. We did see it in AEW, but that's a completely different company, and it was nice to see that under the WWE umbrella because they were able to tell a tremendous story.
Yeah, and shout out to the Great Brown Hope. We did a deep dive in this on the Main Event Vixer, yes. And when you get the Great Brown Hope with the Great White Ginger, that's views. You know what I mean? And he talked a lot about returning the Hell in a Cell to its prominence of being the blood stamp at the end of the journey, and that's what we got with that match. It was outstanding. And again, I have not seen all of them, but I saw the Undertaker Mankind live, so I got a little bit of range, and I thought it was great, and it wasn't forced. It made sense.
And I think Bill makes a good point. The less you see blood, the more it means. I mean, we talked about it about a year ago when Moxley seemed to be bleeding after every single matchup that he had in AEW, and it loses that special feeling. But Ian, let me ask you about this before we talk about the final boss showing up at the end of WWE Bad Blood. Rhea and Liv, a lot of scrutiny for this one. Some would say there was a lot. It was overbooked. It just was weird. We did get the return of Raquel, which is something. Just overall, how did you feel about that? Because, like I said, there was just a lot happening.
I mean, kind of when you talk about, this is going to sound really shitty to me, but like, I don't mean it in like a very terrible way, but like the overhyped matches, like, we need to see Dom in a cage above the ring. And we've been hearing about that ever since the Liv versus Rhea thing over Dom was even like hinted at. Because we all know the whole custody over Dom for the ladder match. We know about that, and that's what we were looking forward to. And I didn't think the match was that bad. It was just we had so much expectation for what that match could be and what it was going to look like. I thought not a lot of praise got thrown at Dom for falling out of the. You know how bad that would hurt for your leg?
I don't know if this is accurate, but I've heard that the cage was not supposed to open. So I don't think that spot was planned. But I wouldn't really believe that fully because
his ankle was so strapped so securely. That he was attached to a rig. Fightful did report that Raquel botched the run-in and that she ran into the ref's view and forced him. The spot was supposed to be Liv laid Rhea, or Raquel laid Liv on Rhea for the pin to a succumbing
what they tried to do.
Ref. Ref comes back, makes the count.
The match was already over, right? At that point.
She ran in like a bull right into his vision. So
hey, that's a good point by the Great Brown Hope. He said Raquel really came back to be someone else's driver, and it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Unbelievable, my friend. Unbelievable indeed. But I do want to obviously touch on what closed Bad Blood. Ian, you briefly discussed the main event itself. I would agree with you. I thought it lived up to the hype. It wasn't anything outstanding, but it served its purpose. But afterwards, this kind of felt like Survivor Series in a way where they're panning away a little bit. They're shaking hands in the middle of the ring. The opening or the ending credits go on the screen. But we heard, "If you smell Rock is back once again, a little early too, because we are still 6 months away from WrestleMania. Ian, what do you make of The Rock appearing after Bad Blood? Do you think he's going to be involved at Survivor Series?
Ooh, at Survivor Series, I'm not sure. This is one of those moments where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm very happy that I don't know. Like, there's no writing on the wall on what side he's going to choose, which is the best part. That's what you want, and especially in WWE when it's been, used to be at least, I'd say about over the past year, it's been pretty good with you don't know what's going to happen. So bringing a star back like The Rock, you're going to give him a good spot, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I genuinely, at the end of the pay-per-view, this was the only spoiler I didn't see, which is shocking to me.
Wow,
I don't know how.
All the things.
Yes, I don't know how.
Hey, it's a good one to not get spoiled.
Yeah, and I completely forgot. Like, I obviously saw the Pat McAfee stuff. Hey, the big guy is here. Or Cody said that to Pat McAfee. I saw that. Yep. And I immediately was like, oh, yeah, The Rock. Okay, so it'll be The Rock. Okay, there goes that surprise. I was still shocked because I forgot about it because that main event was that good.
Yeah, and that speaks volumes. I mean, Tuck, we talked about it a little bit on Sunday. We noticed The Rock said 1, 2, 3, slit his throat. There is 3 people on each side here. I know that the 3 people in the ring at the time were Cody, was Roman, and Jimmy Uso, of course. But I don't think it's obvious that he's going to side with the new bloodline. How do you feel about The Rock's involvement here on the way to Survivor Series?
Well, I think it's interesting because they were the big 3 standing in the ring, and it seemingly looked like he was looking at them. But is he telling them that the other 3 are going down, or is he counting off those 3? So that same message of 3 people are in trouble now. Could be landed on Team Roman and Cody and Jimmy, or it could have been communicating them that that's what that group is going to do. But he only said 3, and he would make 4 somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, what does that look like? It's intriguing. We find something out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think The Rock's advertised for SmackDown tomorrow, but Roman is.
But they're trying. A lot of times they like to do. They've made an emphasis on like not necessarily reporting all the time. I hope he's there. He's got to be there. He's got to be there.
I don't think he has to be there.
Oh yeah.
Gotta be there.
Yeah.
Get his ass there. Kind says, I think Rock's going to be very active on social media, but won't be on TV a lot until Mania. Hopefully Survivor Series, even if it's just as a ref or something. That's nothing I really considered. Maybe The Rock could be a ref of sorts, but I feel like that's too small of a role for the final boss, Ian.
I don't think so.
He would look great in that ref tank, though.
Plus, I mean, if you have The Rock being a ref, like say it like Survivor Series, you have that 3-on-3 with the 2 teams. You could have The Rock as your special guest referee. You're going to be hinting at what side he's going to choose that entire match.
This is true.
I think that sells a lot of tickets, and plus that guy, obviously you don't want him taking as many bumps as he can. So I think that's a win-win. I love that idea.
Interesting. Okay. Great Brown Hope says Bloodline, Civil War, and Drew with Gallus and versus Punk could be his hopes for War Games. Man, Great Brown Hope really doesn't want this Punk Drew feud to end. I feel like that's got to be over.
It's got to be it.
Yeah, I don't need to see
for a while. I do think this is something in 3 years, if they're both still here, could be mega big. You know what I mean? But
revisit it.
You don't know what you have with the Punk timeline. You don't know how long you got the run, and so how long is too long in that regard too, for me.
Yeah, you don't want to risk it. You don't know if he's going to be healthy, so you got to shoot your shot when you can and make it happen. Yes, sir.
I just also want to point out, it really doesn't have anything to do with the conversation besides The Rock being a part of it. The Rock absolutely murdered Ryback on Twitter. I don't know if anybody saw that.
He? Oh man, I missed it.
Oh no, I got swindled. I forgot it was not The Rock. It was a fake account, but it was really funny.
You got.
I know. I just remembered.
You got swindled.
Darn it!
Funny.
Frick.
Rockfished.
Shoot. Kind says, I hope that I still see my idea that Rock was controlling Solo and making him do all this so we get Rock versus Roman because you do Roman versus Solo at the Royal Rumble. I mean, that makes sense.
Yes.
I mean, you're not wrong there. Great Brown Hope said the last Rock was on TV was before Mania. Solo called out Rollins without being told to do so. Rocky is definitely the one behind Solo's bloodline takeover. I mean, I feel like that's the obvious side he would choose, but I think it would be very entertaining if he went the other way. Just a thought. Kind said Solo said it's all part of the plan in the crowd. Yeah, guys, there's a lot of comments. I can't pull through all of those. I appreciate
God, Solo is Solo a bitch though. They said he was the new tribal chief, man.
I mean, he kind of is. All he does is lose, right?
Yeah.
Hold on, I got to change a channel on my TV. It looks like there's a lightning storm on my TV, so it really looks like flashing lights. So I'll be right.
Why is there a lightning storm on his TV?
He's just hoping we don't catch a glare of the porno off that headboard. He's trying to keep us safe. I respect it, Ian. What a guy.
He's like, you know what? Mom's not with me in the hotel, so I can go on pay-per-view.
Put it on my tab.
Everybody put in the comments what porno you think Ian is watching.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Ian. How's it going? Guy says Solo's always been a bitch on the main roster. I mean, kind of, but not in NXT, that's for sure. We gotta mute Avalia him. Yeah, I don't think he realized that he's still on mute. Were
Don't
you
want to talk
saying
about
something?
it. Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
Positive?
Nope.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit from things that happened at Monday Night Raw. First off, I'm curious on what's happening here with CM Punk because he ended up cutting a promo, wasn't able to physically get into the ring, which I appreciate him still selling that Hell in a Cell match that happened 48 hours beforehand. But Tuck, we don't know what's next for CM Punk. He basically said that himself. He's going to be away for a little bit, take some time to himself. Is this just him kind of stepping away since it's Crown Jewel season and maybe we'll see him at Survivor Series, or do you think he'll be gone until maybe the Rumble?
No, I think this is just more TV time for others when they know CM Punk's not going to Saudi. That could have been some of those hard no's he referenced in his contract that he made sure that there were some things that were very black and white, and this could be one of them. And good, gives us a reset on a feud that we've enjoyed but endured for some time.
Also, Bill says he acknowledges Solo Sikoa as his tribal chief. Might be the only person I've ever seen acknowledge Solo. So kudos to you, MVM. But Ian, that's well deserved right there. Ian, I don't know if you got a chance to watch Monday Night Raw, but where do you think CM Punk's going to pop back up? Do you think this is him just taking the back seat for a little bit and letting others get the shine?
Yeah, and I think it's for good reason because you have guys like Braun Breaker doing incredible things. You still have Ilya Dragunov that kind of disappeared here, so hopefully he gets a little budge here. And you have Bronson versus Rollins, which I don't think they expected this feud to take off as much as it has, but I'm genuinely super excited for this. Bronson Reed is on the path to being a main eventer. It's just being very blunt with it.
You're not wrong. I don't know if you got the chance to see his interview with Chris Van Fleet. That was
I did,
pretty
yes.
good. It was cool to see that personality in Bronson because obviously you don't get to see that on TV all the time. I agree with Bill. I think Punk definitely will be back for Netflix. Maybe he's back for Survivor Series, but I don't know what he would really do at Survivor Series. I feel like that's just going to be the Bloodline show.
Yeah, let him take some time off because once he comes back, it's gonna take a lot for him to get into a new feud after the match in the feud that him and Drew just had. You're not going to be as invested if you just bring him back within a month or so. I don't hate the Netflix idea. Maybe he opens up that show, that's his return, and you don't have any crazy thing come out of it. And that's when that Rollins feud starts. Yeah, exactly.
Seth just beats the shit out of Punk to kick off Monday Night Raw. This is something we didn't touch on, Tuck. But I don't know if you got the chance to see it because it went viral on X. The Cody and KO confrontation after the show. It looked like KO has finally turned. Obviously, they'll address this a little more tomorrow, but that was pretty cool to see how they shot that. They wanted it to get...
Well, it was fun. They are a multimedia brand. They know how to play the game. And I love that the way that it was shot. And the way they talked about like the gravity or seriousness of it on Raw, they did not bring it up. Tessitore shut down the only attempt at someone trying to talk about it, and he's like, "Nope, that's not us. Nope, 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 nope." And so it's interesting the way I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Ian, did you get a chance to see that beatdown after Bad Blood?
Yeah, and it was cool too because I think they are starting. Oh, at least Triple H understands how much pull online, especially like Twitter, and as bad as it is, as we all know how toxic it can be. That's what makes superstars superstars. Joe Hendry got. I mean, not to be like a backhand compliment thing, but like he got popular from Twitter and social media.
Well, your job as a wrestler is to get over.
Yeah, and you could use social media to get over. Drew McIntyre elevated the CM Punk feud through social media.
And with the hurt CM Punk.
Yeah, that's also a good point. But these are the kind of things that get people to tune in the next week. I now want to watch Friday Night SmackDown because I want to see what Kevin's got to say. Maybe he'll deny that it was even him in the video footage. Obviously, he can't do that because we know it was him, but I'm sure they're going to do some shit like that on SmackDown. So it's very cool. I'm glad that Dirk brought that up. We definitely needed to at least touch on that. But a few more comments trickling in. Kind says it'll be censor-free on Netflix. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed. Tuck, right? They haven't decided.
Well, they don't have to adhere to ratings. So
this is fair.
They don't have to the cable rating system. So technically it will. I mean, it is censor free, but that doesn't mean that it'll necessarily be hyper explicit.
Unhinged, yeah. But I like what Bill's saying too. They didn't even need a production crew. The fact that they just trusted fans to record the fights shows how much the WWE has changed.
Yeah, totally. I agree. A Freeze Liard on our hands. I do like the take on the exceptional shot, and he's back. Gags?
Yeah, I just disappeared for a little bit. That's okay.
Go hotel internet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Ethernet too, and it still does this shit. I don't know. I'm gonna take a
You should probably move.
Why would I move?
I don't know.
I actually am probably gonna move soon. So
yeah,
funny you mentioned that. But all right, guys, let's move on over and talk about AEW WrestleDream that is happening this Saturday. I will not be live watching this. I will be in Green Bay preparing for my game on Sunday. Not my game, but my team's game. I'm going to be drinking.
The game you're going to, it's your game.
Yeah, I guess it is my game. It's my
You
team.
Own the team.
Yeah,
you own the team.
You're an owner.
Yeah. Fuck. You guys going to be watching live?
I should be. If I don't fall asleep by then.
Start Central Time? Do you know? Because that kind of fucking matters. For me, really? I got to wake up at like 3:30 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're going to be back here.
Mm-hmm. So that might be a part live, part recap after the race thing.
Was Ian in a frat house? No.
So you missed the whole conversation. That's tough.
Oh, what conversation?
No, Kind missed our whole conversation that I'm in Michigan at a hotel. Shame.
I don't know if he's talking about right now. I think he's just talking about in the past. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, Kind's an educated listener.
Yeah. Moxley goes over a period. Hey, let's not jump the gun, Bill. We're not starting with the main event. It's not time.
Fucking hot sauce Bill Moss just ripping.
Bill really wants that MVM. He's like, I'm going to come in for the main event. Instead, we're going to start with an appearance of sorts because we don't know exactly what's going to be happening here. They are just advertising the fact that Swerve Strickland will be returning here in his home state at WrestleDream. Ian, we have briefly touched on it before. I think it was a couple weeks ago, the possibility of a new version of the Hurt Business or the Hurt Syndicate, whatever they're going to call it. What do you think is going to go down here? Is this where we see a debut?
I think this is no. I think this is going to be as simple as Swerve making that decision. I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to get an idea of where this feud's going to go. You could hold off on your debut because the fact that you have Swerve with MVP just having an interaction with Shelton Benjamin there, that's all you really need. I don't think you need any more selling points on who's going to be there. Obviously, I would love to see Bobby Lashley there. If he's there,
we all would.
That is absolutely fantastic. Yes, please.
Bobby going to be there, right?
I don't know. He should be at some point, but I'm just saying. Wait, for what?
He's been Lashley's
Lashley
been under
is
contract
all
for a couple
elite.
weeks. Yeah. They haven't announced it like on
That's
TV,
what I'm saying,
but
like-
it's been reported
Oh.
he's under the AEW umbrella.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You're busy.
But yes, I am. But
That's
still,
if not the pay-per-view, when?
Yeah, right?
well, that's when you start doing it at Dynamite, because then you could start hinting at, because if you have Swerve choose the side opposite of MVP and with Prince Nana, have a Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve match, and then that's when you have Bobby Lashley come in. It could just be as
And
simple as that.
You can
That's all
have
you
a
need.
Could be.
Nana MVP Rampage main event.
Wait, that is a main event?
No, you could. Prince
Oh, I
Nana versus
actually wouldn't
MVP. What
believe
a
it.
I
what a
don't
match.
hate that. Yes.
I think it's terrible, but
I would not.
Hey,
watch
Nana's
it.
a wrestler.
Bill thinks
He's a
Swerve
coffee
can
guy.
Turn, yeah, he is.
That's true.
Turns on Nana, I feel.
No,
I mean, that definitely could
no.
happen. It definitely could happen. Great Brown Up said, man, Swerve really showed up at the wrestling nightclub and gave us a free performance. Major props to Swerve. That's awesome. I saw the Great
That's
Brown
sick.
Hope got to experience that. Didn't Tuck, was that the same thing we debated on doing when we went to Cleveland?
yeah, we went to AIW instead.
That was a good show. We got to see
Great
Gargano and
show.
Ciampa.
It was awesome.
Great show. We love AIW. Former sponsor of the Main Event Wrestling Network. Kind said, could be that simple or just straight up to bring them all out together. Shocked to open the show. And I did not know this. Great Brown Hope said that Prince Nana wrestled in WWE once.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Why'd you say that like it was so obvious?
Well, I thought you guys were saying like you didn't know that he wrestled before, so I was like, yeah.
I didn't.
No, it's something I'm just totally not interested in seeing. But yeah,
Okay.
I did not know that he's wrestled before. But talk anything
He's a
you wanna
big
add
boy.
about this appearance for Swerve Strickland?
no.
Yeah, I'm just one Bobby Lashley. Simple as that. But overall excitement levels going into this pay-per-view for me, man, it's tough because I don't think it's just fully AEW's fault. We criticize them a lot about their builds to pay-per-views, talk about their stories that they try to tell, but they've really had a lot of TV specials recently, and I think they've kind of booked themselves into a corner, so to speak, because they really didn't give themselves an opportunity to really build this card like it should have. Like for me, Tuck, if you were to ask me 1 through 10, I'm probably at like a 3 on the excitement meter. Like this just doesn't do it for me, but it'll probably be a good show. It always is.
No, this is what AEW does, and it's kind of frustrating because it doesn't help.
Right.
But like going in, I don't even know if I'll buy it Saturday. I don't know that I will watch this pay-per-view. Some things have to happen, and it'll probably be great, and that's how it goes. Going to be a clash of styles with Bad Blood being a 5-match card, and this one has what, 9 on it?
11
with the
Yeah.
0 hour or whatever.
0 hour, yeah.
Sheesh.
So I'm glad Bill commented this because Tuck did bring it up in our group chat a little bit earlier. Bill said the Go Home Show did no favors to build the excitement towards the pay-per-view. I would agree. But putting yourself on a Tuesday, and I know AEW had no choice in this matter because of the MLB playoffs, you're just shooting yourselves in the foot because everybody knows that's a WWE night, and you're just not going to top the viewers of NXT, who is in a very cool setup at the factory in St. Louis, has Randy Orton build on the card. There's just so much happening in NXT. I think that's the reason why it hurt them, Ian, but also they probably could have done a better job building to WrestleDream. Let's be fair.
Yeah, and I think you said it perfectly. Like they've booked so many big. I mean, they had Grand Slam within it. I mean, ever since All In, it's been every 2 weeks there's been a pay-per-view. I was crunching the numbers just a little bit. It's been about $120 per month to watch AEW pay-per-views. I think
It's tough.
it's $60 per month or per pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
I got All In, All Out for 85 total because I did the combo.
Oh, they
thing.
had the bundle.
Yeah.
But like if
Yeah.
you were to do it separately, yes, Ian, you're right.
That's
a lot
insane.
To ask out
That's
of fans.
I mean, like, I wish this Max. I love the Max announcement. I love that they're going to Max and it's going to a
PLE
streaming
should
service.
be on Max.
Correct, absolutely. If they did
is
that,
the move.
their viewer count would go through the roof. You would have WWE fans being like, oh, "Okay, I already have Max. I'm watching this show already. Might as well tune in to see what AEW is doing." It's as simple as that. I don't get it.
Tuck, how bad were the actual ratings? Do you know the number?
I can get them. Give me a second.
I just want to point
in
out.
the group chat, you would know the number.
That's
No,
all
I know where to find them.
Okay, Ian, what were you gonna say?
I read them 12 hours ago.
I was just going to point out in our group chat for the main event, I pointed out that Mercedes Moné finally had her best match in AEW, and it was against Emi Sakura. I didn't care a single ounce going into the match, and I tried not to watch it. But Emi Sakura is really, really good at wrestling. I'm not trying to be like a Monet like sounding hater, but Emmy carried that match and she did very, very good. Just want to throw that out there. Shout out to her because she's like 48 years old.
Yeah, she's been wrestling for 30 years or something like that.
Something around there, yeah.
That's
329,000 and a .10 rating in the key demo.
They didn't even hit 4. That's like Rampage numbers. God, guys, that's what you get for going head to head with the WWE. It's just not going to work. It's not like 2020 when they were the new kids on the block, the sexy player in town. Where all right, I'll watch AEW, see what they're all about, instead of watching NXT, who's trying to figure out what their identity is. Now we know where the direction of NXT is. You're not going to convince me to watch AEW over NXT. It's just
NXT 874,000, a .24 in the demo.
It's a developmental, by the way. Developmental brand. Just throwing that out there. Great Brown Hope. I thought people tuned in for the major announcements. Tony ran out of major announcements. Great Brown Hope. I'm sorry. Bill said AEW pay-per-views are expensive as hell. I can't wait to pay 12 to 15 months instead. Is that what the max paying is going to be? Or is it still separate?
It's still separate.
I thought it was, yeah. So it's not
That's why
like
I'm pissed.
Peacock. Yeah, it's still going to cost you some money. Kind said, I can't wait to get Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and all PLEs and the whole catalog of WWE for $10 a month on Netflix. Yeah, it's gonna be nice to have that all on Netflix. This slightly reminds me of WWF versus WCW a little. And once WCW started to get less views, just imagine they buy AEW. That's never gonna happen.
I just want to point out there's been a lot of AEW hate so far in the past like 5 minutes. Could we move on to predictions and look forward to matches? I'm too tired to argue right now. I'm just hearing a lot of complaints right now. I mean, just a lot of lashing. I'm a big AEW fan.
It's a touchy subject. Yeah, you were one of the 329,000 that had enjoyed it yesterday.
Good.
Hey, I watched them both.
I'm happy. I'm loyal.
I watched them both at the same time.
130,000 less than the previous low. It's fine.
Yeah, we can build on that with a great AEW
Also,
WrestleDream. What you're ruining Ian's day.
They were forced into the slot though. That's the other hard part about it. Like they were forced into that Tuesday slot, so I think it's kind of a wash. But
yeah, throw it away. They'll bounce back, I'm sure. Darby Allin versus Brody King. This match was put together on Dynamite this week. Darby Allin realistically probably should be in the world title picture because he earned his opportunity, but he lost that match to Moxley, who ended up taking his spot, and that's why we are here. Brody King challenged Darby Allin. I didn't really see the full segment of what went down exactly, but Ian, I'll let you go first for this one. Who's walking away with the victory?
Watch the segment too, by the way, Kyle. Okay. I think you would genuinely like it because they went back to their past and kind of brought up their history together on the indies and living in the, in the crappy conditions that they did. It was fantastic. All it took was one appearance with them together in the ring for me to really look forward to this match. We've seen Darby and Brody versus each other in the past. We've seen them in singles action before.
Oh, yeah.
This feels bigger. Like it genuinely does. It feels like this is the new character development for Darby, the new Darby that we're starting to get. We're getting a Darby that he understands his self-worth kind of thing. And it feels awesome. He's doing fantastic promos as well. And Brody King is another guy that if you launch him to the moon, I don't think anybody's going to bat an eye. I think this is just a stepping stone for Darby, and that's not taking anything from Brody. But if Brody did win, I could also see it developing Darby into something else. I'm going to stick with my first thought. Yeah, I'm going to stick with my first thought, though, and just have Darby. No, I'm not. I'm going Brody winning because I think you just saying that, the questioning himself part, I think that's what they're starting to go with Darby.
Because he kind of was on the rise for a little bit there, and then Moxley kind of just took it all away. And maybe this is just another downfall for Darby Allin to eventually climb back up. I could see that, but I think the obvious choice is basically what the Great Brown Hope put in our comment section. He said, Darby Allin gets the win, keeps him relevant with victories and in the shadows waiting, because I do believe Darby is very close to getting a world heavyweight opportunity. Tuck, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm a little out of touch on AEW, so I'm looking a lot of matches I'm looking forward to. This being one of them. Brody King to me is the guy that, like, I'll buy his figure when it goes on sale, but I do want it, if that makes sense. Like, I think there is more to him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We haven't even scratched the surface with him, in my opinion. So hopefully we can get to that, and maybe this match will take him to that next step. But Kine's actually going with Brody as well. It's a new chapter in Darby building into a new character. It's going to be a good match. It's a smart way to start a new Darby off with a loss. Bill says Darby's definitely more comfortable on the mic, which I would agree with 100%. He said it's good to see his character evolve from a bashful, dark babyface to a guy who simply doesn't give a fuck what no one thinks of him. That's perfectly said. And Ian, I think we even kind of said similar things to that a couple weeks ago about Darby.
Yeah, it seems like they're giving the reins to Darby. I mean, he's always been like kind of the literal director of his own promos, and it shows through with his camera work and how he films everything, all of his promos. He would have been one of those guys in WWE, like the Thunderdome era, that would have flourished. He would have been kind of like that Bray Wyatt situation or the last Ride Undertaker match. He could have done those matches and absolutely flourished and became one of those main event guys that just did backstage cinematography matches.
Well, you remember he did do a cinematography match with Sting in the warehouse, right?
His first match back, and it was fantastic.
It was good. That was
really
fun. Those were good times. So Tuck and I are going with Darby. Ian is going with Brody King. Let's move on here to the AEW Tag Team Championship match, a matchup you would see on AEW television if you went back in 2019, because these are some OG teams, which I like to see. I would have liked Private Party to maybe have been champions by now, but hey, there's no time like the present, right? Tuck, what do we think about this one?
Could be an interesting opportunity to hit the reset button for Private Party, make a statement. Young Bucks, EVPs, put some guys over, do what's right for business. Loved Private Party, Gin and Juice, one of my favorite moves. So many great things.
So you're not going with Private Party is what I'm picking up on.
No Young Bucks retain, yeah.
Yeah, I know you. I mean, but you would like to see Private Party win, wouldn't you?
I used to really be into him. I'm telling you, early AEW, I was a Private Party guy because Street Profits were hot. I thought the vibey, energetic, athletic teams, in making tag team wrestling fun, and then they just cooled off for a little while.
Yeah.
And so I am interested. Could they on a pay-per-view in match one? Could they? Are we going to get more than this?
Maybe. I mean, they definitely could turn this into a multi-match kind of feud, but I think the issue with Private Party recently, Ian, is that they've kind of just been hopping from faction to faction, and they really haven't just settled in anywhere, and I think that's hurt them as a whole, but that's not like an indication of them being bad. I think Private Party is actually a really good tag team. No,
they've done fantastic. Just on their own, I mean, like you said, there's been so many new hot tag teams that have come in.
Private Party.
Shots.
Oh no.
But I really think it's going to take somebody special to take those titles off the Young Bucks. I think that's what they're kind of building up to, and they're still they're recovering from the Lucha Bros shock of them going to WWE. I genuinely think that put a huge damper into their plans with those tag titles, because the tag titles are still on the Young Bucks. A lot of people forget, but also it could be a part of their plan, because later on the Young Bucks in their heelish ways could say, yeah, did you see our long reign? I think slowly and under the table, like, these tag titles are becoming more and more relevant. It's just nobody knows it yet. It's going to take that special tag team to win those titles off the pretty dastardly heels of Young Bucks right now. Like, they're getting past the kind of charisma-ish Young Buck heels that we've seen before in the past, where it's kind of almost charming in a way, kind of funny. Now it's just, now it's literally like, okay, please take the titles off them, which is good. That's what we need. And we've seen moments like this where Private Party could win. We've seen this before. I think it was it Dante Martin, or it was just the top flights. They won the it was like the jackpot battle royale or something like that. Threw the Young Bucks over, beat the Young Bucks for it was like a cash prize or something along those lines. We've seen major surprises like this where it just shoots a tag team to the moon. Just depends on what they do up top. Obviously, Top Flight had their troubles back then, so.
Danhausen, why are you on our podcast?
Shout out Pro Wrestling Crate, am I right?
Oh, you're not Danhausen. You're tucking a mask.
AEW spooky season, all the things. It's a Danhausen luchador mask.
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of look like Chris Jericho when he put on the Lucha Bros mask, just a little bit. I don't know why. It's giving me that vibe right now. I don't like it.
You see this right here? I just want to deliver one of these right into your sock hole right now.
Feels a little big on the face, but we're gonna let it ride for a minute.
Okay, good luck. Just don't struggle to breathe over there. Ian, did you actually give a pick for this match? I'm sorry, I got distracted by Danhausen.
No, it's okay. I made a risky pick the first time, so let's go Young Bucks retain. Tuckyhausen.
This is fair. There's a lot of comments trickling in again. I'm trying to get to them all. Kind says the Acclaim for tag champs. No, thank you. We just saw that. We can get there eventually, just not right now. GYV for tag champs, says Bill. I could see the grizzled young veterans maybe getting into that picture eventually. Veer and Sangha, of course, from the Great Brown Hope. Everybody's just throwing out tag teams in AEW to take it from them. And yeah, look at. He said, curse him, Tuckhausen. There you go. Timu Fiend Max. No, it definitely looks like a Danhausen match. We don't have to compare it to the Fiend.
Oh, don't worry. I've got more.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Maybe I'll do like a costume change each match.
Don't do that. That's too much. That's a lot. I haven't given my pick yet.
Nope.
I don't want to be cute here. I'm going to go with the Young Bucks as much as I want. Yeah, you can boo me all you want. It's just what's going to happen, and I want to be right. I like being right, so I'll go with the Young Bucks to retain.
Are we doing a predictions sheet?
That's a question.
Or is it going to be in still?
It's up to Tuckhausen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll make it.
I just want to retain it like a real champ that I am.
He's a fighting champion. That's what you are.
I'm going for three in a row. 3 in a row.
3 in a row. All right. You know what match I am looking forward to, though, on this card? Hangman Page taking on Switchblade Jay White. I don't know why this match is happening. I maybe have missed a few steps in the story. That is fine. But I'm very excited for it, knowing the talent level of these two men. The match is definitely going to deliver. And I'm sure Ian will be able to explain why these two are fighting here in a little bit. But I don't need to know all that to know who's winning this match. Hangman Page needs to continue that momentum, get another win over a very solid Jay White, who, man, I wish we were doing more with Jay White. Maybe this is the time to do so. We'll find out. But, Tuck, I'm going with Hangman Page to win this one.
I feel like Ian should be the one that goes next.
Okay.
No,
Ian,
go last.
ahead.
Put me last. Please,
he
put me
knows
last.
everything, so I want him to set the table.
I'm going to say everything that you were about to say and steal your shine. I'm very concerned. Hangman Page, he's got to get a win. Great. I think it's going to be a good match, obviously, with the two candidates. I also think this is a springboard for Jay White. Ian.
So, I have been thinking about this feud because I'm kind of upset that you haven't seen what's been going on with this whole Jay White and Hangman Page situation. On screen, it hasn't been. It's been pretty good, but it's kind of like I've been thinking very deep about Jay White and what they could do. And Gags, you kind of said it perfectly. You said this. What are they doing with Jay White? He needs some change to him.
Yeah.
Correct, and I think we are going to get this because last Tuesday or two nights ago. Jay White cut a promo saying, I'm going to get rid of one. He said he had 2 burdens that he wanted to fix and get rid of. One is Hangman Page, and he'll take care of the other one later. I have
plantar fasciitis. That's a problem.
I mean, it
is. The
is.
other one Swerve?
No. I think the other one
Adam Cole Baby.
I think the other one is Rock Hard Juice Robinson, and I think we are going to get an absolute murderous heel out of Jay White. I had that odd suspicion because during the promo, it kind of looked like Jay White was getting annoyed a little bit. It wasn't like super like blatant, honest, obvious, where it was like, oh, he's gonna turn on him. It was kind of like giving the side eye every now and then, and Juice was being like over the top with the shenanigans during the promo.
As always.
And Jay White was serious, like dead serious, didn't make any jokes at all. He did the guns up at the end, but it sounded more serious. That could be a shot in the dark. It could be a 1% chance of it happening, but I think it's going to be Hangman Page wins this. Jay White loses his bleep. I like it. Why do I?
You can cause
he's going to lose his shit. Yeah, he's going to lose his shit, and I think we're going to get a heel turn on Brock Hard, Juice Robinson.
I would love that. I love what you're cooking over there. I did not know really any of the backstory, like I said.
Is that a chef available?
Oh, also, the reason that he has an issue with Hangman is Hangman put Jay White on the shelf. Like, he actually got hurt during a match with Hangman.
Okay.
That's why they're coming back.
Thank you for connecting those dots. So it
You're
makes
welcome.
a lot more sense. It just wouldn't make sense for Hangman to lose here, in my opinion, because if he just won that feud with Swerve, who's a former AEW World Champion, and you have him lose to Jay White, who hasn't accomplished anything major yet in AEW, it's just that seesaw battle. So we're all going with Hangman Page to defeat Jay White, but should be one of the better matchups on the card.
Hangman.
This next one's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know about this build either, but MXM, who is, what is his name? Dio Madden, formerly known as Dio Madden, and Mansoor taking on the Acclaimed. I remember the fashion show they did a couple weeks ago. I think it was on Collision. That was kind of funny. I'm going with the Acclaimed because I don't think MXM does. They don't need to win matches for them to be over. So
Correct.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Interested in the, is it MXM or MXM collection?
Yes.
I'm intrigued. They were a little bit of something, and again, this whole gimmick started in WWE, and I think they have an opportunity to make it even better. I think it's got to be Acclaimed. Yes, we'll see.
You agreeing with the comments here, Ian? Acclaimed?
Yeah, and like you said, MXM doesn't need to win any match to still be a draw in the fact that they are super entertaining. It's kind of been the whole feud has been around fashion. MXM hates the Acclaim's fashion. That's literally all it's been.
Wrestling, baby.
It's entertaining. It's super entertaining. I'm looking forward to the match just because it's going to be funny.
It will be. I mean, we're going to be sports entertained. I know they don't like that term because that's where the best wrestle. They don't like sports entertainment, but that's what they're getting out of the Acclaimed and the MXM collection. Let's move on to...
Is it like... that's where some of the best wrestle, though? Right?
Some of the best, yeah.
Yeah. WWE's, they've got some good wrestlers.
MXM are over anyway. Acclaim get the win for their sake. MXM stay over regardless. Yep, 100%. Let's go to this TNT title match. Jack Perry looking to defend his TNT title against Shibata. My criticism with this run is that ever since Jack Perry came back, I mean, his return itself was very hot. Him winning the title, very hot. A lot of steam behind him. But since then, he's been just hopping from challenger to challenger and not believable challengers, in my opinion. Like, Shibata his gimmick is the wrestler. But what has he done in AEW? Absolutely nothing. On paper, there's no way Shibata should defeat Jack Perry in this matchup, Ian. How do you feel about this match?
Yeah, Shibata's like Tony Khan's last stand on New Japan success leads into AEW success. Like, Shibata is a fantastic wrestler. I enjoy watching him wrestle. I really do. And I think he's really good at doing so. That language barrier is really tough to get yourself over. I think it's really entertaining. It's very sports entertaining with the wrestler and the phone gimmick. And
yeah, the Siri.
It's very funny. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just when you see that promo in the backstage of, I'm going to challenge you, see you at WrestleDream in the robot voice. It's like, okay, cool. That'll be fun, but you're not going to win. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, this doesn't excite me, Tuck. I don't know how you feel about all of it, but I'm going with Jack Perry to retain.
Jack Perry, next.
Yeah, we don't need to spend too much time on some of these matches because, like we said earlier, some of them just felt thrown together. This was one of those for me. At least this next matchup has a little bit of build to it. We got Hologram versus Beast Mortos in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Ian, I'll let you go first for this one. We now know, though, that Beast Mortos is aligned with Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes, which is also very intriguing to me. I'm actually excited for that faction
What about
and
your
what they
boy?
do with it. Lance Archer, he's going to be with the Don Callis family.
That's cool.
He's going to get the TV time. Yes, that's all I care about. I don't care what he does as long as he's on TV. That's all I need. But yeah, this match, another one that's like, cool. Yes, this will be really good. It's going to be very entertaining. There's probably going to be a lot of botches. But Beast Mortos, I wish this would be like another Wardlow situation. We just call that situation like with the big meaty boys that are really good at wrestling and we don't know how to push them. We're just going to call that the Ward. No, we'll call that the Wardlow spot because it happens to a lot of people within AEW. There's my shot at AEW. See?
Wait, why are you talking so negative about AEW on this podcast?
We were all thinking it. But this match is going to be fun. Hologram has a 14-win streak going into this now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I don't know how they're going to play that out. If they're going to say the first fall is a win or second fall loss. I don't know. It'll go to 3 falls. I would like to see Beast Mortos win. It would make sense for me within the new faction now. Hologram, it's like, why do I care about this guy? He's really good at wrestling, again, but I have no care for him at all. The presentation is cool. It's entertaining. Yes.
Do you guys know that we have seen this match in person before? This happened at a Warrior Wrestling show.
What's his name? Hologram?
I'm not going to reveal who Hologram is because I
don't
want to keep
the private
kayfabe
chat.
alive. But you have seen these two wrestle at Warrior Wrestling before. Literally
Put it in the private chat.
I will do that. I can't multitask like that because I still got to do transitions and everything. So remind me after the show. But what is your pick? Sorry to cut you off, but I just wanted to throw that fun fact out there.
I think Tony has a lot of plans for Hologram. Obviously, he puts the world on his shoulders for some reason. He might have some blackmail against Tony Khan. I'm going to go with Hologram to win this.
Yeah, I like the Hologram versus Commander match that we got on Dynamite, and I think we're going to keep that momentum you talked about his winning streak. So I think this is an easy win for Hologram. Tucky, what about you?
Yeah, I think Hologram is too hot right now, and it'll be a good match. Hope it doesn't overstay its welcome, but
Good point.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Once again, I know we've said this a lot. Should be a lot of fun. We are going a little heavy on time, though, so sorry, guys. I'm not going to be pulling up a lot of your comments. We still have 4 matches to talk about. This one for the ROH World Heavyweight title, Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. And, man, I unfortunately think Chris Jericho is going to once again become ROH World Champion because Jericho doesn't have a belt now. He needs to go find another one and just be amongst the learning tree. So Mark Briscoe's had that title for a while. I think he's going to be just fine if he loses to Jericho. But I'm rooting for Mark. I'm going with Jericho, Tucky.
I'm going to go with Mark Briscoe.
Yeah. Why?
And that's it. Because I want him to win more than I want Chris Jericho to win. This is a little bit more of an emotional play, if I do say so myself. But I think this could be a nice step for Mark Briscoe. And I hope they take advantage of that.
Fair enough. Ian?
Another one that I've gotten excited about. I'm actually looking forward to this match because Chris Jericho, as much as you guys might hate for me to say it, I'm starting to understand what they're doing, and I am very sports entertained by them, as Jericho usually does with his new factions, and I'm hoping for a lot out of the other guys within it. I think Big Bill and Brian Keith are going to be onto some major things within AEW later on, and it's putting them on TV. It's putting them in the Showtime or whatever they call it, the
Spotlight.
TV time. I think this is going to lead to other and bigger and better things for that ROH title. Give it to Chris Jericho, and that's not saying anything bad about Mark Briscoe, obviously, but give it to Chris Jericho. You could put that faction over to ROH now. Maybe sell some tickets for ROH and get people to buy in. Maybe, I don't know. Get Chris Jericho. Why not?
Kind said go with Mark. Jericho's washed. Put him in a tag team with Paul. No, we don't want that kind. No, nobody wants that. So we're me and Ian going with Jericho, and Tucky's going with Mark Briscoe. This next one is probably going, and I don't think it's bold of me to say this, this is probably going to be the best in-ring matchup that we get at WrestleDream. I could be wrong, but we are going to see Will Ospreay take on Ricochet and Konosuke Takeshita. Tuck, this could be one of the more difficult ones to predict on this card.
Is Takeshita going to win this match? And then Ospreay and Ricochet go off on a big feud on their own. And Takeshita. Why do I want to say the second K? I'm going Kosuke Takeshita.
Okay. Ian?
I don't think Ospreay retains. Does Tony Khan go the cheap route of just putting it on the new guy in Ricochet? Or does he finally think smart and put it on Takeshita, who's deserved a title for the longest time within AEW? Tony, you're very smart. Put it on Takeshita. Let's go Takeshita, new champ.
Take a Shita.
This, I mean, Tuck kind of, alluded to it a little bit ago. I do think this is the perfect opportunity for Takeshita to finally get, like Ian said, a well-deserved title in AEW, because like Tuck was saying, you can have Ospreay and Ricochet just spin off and do their own thing without the title. Will Ospreay is a guy that doesn't need a title to be relevant. People will still pay money to see him compete in non-title matches. Eventually, Will Ospreay will get to that world title scene. It's inevitable. It's going to happen very soon.
Oh, yeah.
But this is just that first step into him getting, ascending up the card. And Takeshita is that perfect guy to give this title to, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Fletcher's involved. I think Kyle Fletcher, on behalf of Don Callis, could cost Will Ospreay this match. And then, because you remember he said that he still got Kyle Fletcher under contract with the Don Callis family. So
you didn't see the segment then with the build-up this Dynamite. Another one you gotta watch. It was pretty entertaining. He showed signs, Kyle Fletcher. He showed signs of flipping sides, but ended up not. He just walked out of the ring, so he hasn't chosen a side yet. So it's another thing to keep your eye on. I like the idea of, either or. If Kyle Fletcher remains a babyface, then he kind of rides the coattails of Ospreay. But if you want to elevate him more, be that dominant heel. But at the same time, if we're predicting Takeshita to win that championship, I don't know. I just don't know. There's a lot of questions about the Don Callis family on how that all works out.
I think I'd be very surprised if Ricochet won. Like, on paper, I'd put Takeshita at number 1, Ospreay retaining number 2, Ricochet winning number 3. I just think that'd be a lot too soon. A lot of pressure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anything else from this match? Are we good to move on to the last two?
Nope. Nothing.
All right, let's finish up here with the men's and the women's world title matches. First, ladies, of course, the Glamour, Mariah May, taking on Willow Nightingale. Willow went from being TBS Women's Champion to being shotgunned right into the world title scene, and this is something that we have talked about on OTM, as Willow being a world title contender in the near future. Well, here we are, still in 2024. She has an opportunity here against the Glamour. Ian, who's walking away with that women's title?
I hate that you started me. I know I was up in the rotation, but this is pretty tough. I genuinely have no clue. I'm going to take a 50-50 shot because Mariah May, as much as I like her being champion, this is her first championship. She's only 2 years into her career, or just over 2 years into her career. She could lose the title. It's going to be okay. She's a heel. She'll come back. We all know how good she is. The fans aren't going to be lost by her. And Willow is at probably, if not the apex, very close to the apex of hype that she could have. The match that she had when she won that number 1 contenders match this past Tuesday, the crowd was lit. Like, hey, we're on fire for Willow. Screw it. Willow, new champ.
Okay. I think you're leaving out something that could aid Willow into winning this title. Why are we not talking about the possibility of Timeless Tony Storm returning here and costing Mariah May the world title? I think that's a possibility. I don't think that's too soon. She's been off TV now for what? A little over a month?
Yeah.
Tuck, what do you think? Yeah, even Kind's saying Tony return.
I think what better time than now? I think it's been long enough. I think it's Mariah May's had some space. Get another good win here. Tony Storm introduces it, or Mariah May loses to Willow Nightingale, costs
It's a
it.
possibility.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a storm in Tacoma.
Oh, I get it, because I thought it was a Jade Cargill reference for some reason.
I was
It went
like,
way over
wait,
my
what?
I was like, a storm is coming. That's all I thought of for theme song. I'm going with Mariah May to retain. I do think Willow eventually will get that moment. I just don't think it's right here, right now at WrestleDream. Like we were talking about, Tony Storm's waiting to come back, and I think she's going to make her presence known here and confront Mariah after the match. And Bill says, I think Tony can do another month of absence, so he's in agreement with Ian. Maybe keep her off TV for a little bit longer. Kind says Mariah doesn't lose clean, reignites an amazing rivalry, potentially gives Willow her deserved title. And Great Brown Hope asks, wasn't Kind saying Kalani Jordan was the best? Yes. Great Brown Hope, you're going to learn that Kind flip-flops a lot. That's going to happen. That's not a diss, Kind. I'm just you were
No,
a
it is.
Kalani stan. You were a Kalani stan. Now you're on Mariah May. Can't wait to see who he's hyping up on next week. Let's move on here to the main event. It looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. Bryan Danielson, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, taking on arguably the greatest AEW World Heavyweight Champion in Jon Moxley. And guys, I get to go first, and I am still undecided on what direction this match is going to go, because you can make a very strong case for both sides here. Originally, when we saw Bryan Danielson win that world title, I think a lot of us were the fantasy booking for him to lose at WrestleDream. It just made sense, his home state. I don't feel like the feud has hit its apex. I feel like there needs to be just a tad more heat on Jon Moxley and company. And I don't know if that's maybe Wheeler Yuta aligning with Moxley and trying to cost Bryan Danielson this match. I'm not sure, but something's pulling me towards the American Dragon, and maybe that's just my heart talking because I've always been a fan of Bryan Danielson. I just feel like we could maybe stretch this out one more month, and I don't know where his health's at. I'm sure he's going to need surgery soon, but guys, I'm going with and still AEW World Heavyweight Champion Bryan Danielson. Tuck, what about you? It's tough.
I think I'm going Moxley.
How confident are you in that?
5 out of 10, like coin flippy.
Yeah.
Is Danielson from Washington?
Yep. Tacoma, Washington, I think.
Yeah, that's it, boys.
You really?
Hometown finish. Leave
Can
the
you do
boots in the
better than
ring.
Moxley? Like, to the end of Danielson's career, can you do better in AEW, you think?
Not right now.
Right.
And
So,
I don't know that Danielson's got the legs long enough to stretch it for someone to get there. MJF?
How is that? Where's he been? Is he hurt?
Filming
After
Happy
that-
Gilmore too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They just wrapped.
Okay. So he should be back soon.
Could be very soon.
Ian, I love what Tuck's thinking here. I think MJF should be the one to retire Bryan Danielson, but I still think it could be Moxley even if he doesn't win here.
I don't think it's going to be now. When we think about it, Bryan Danielson said he has throughout this entire year. It's kind of like a Sting situation where it's once those December pay-per-views start coming up, which, as we were talking about earlier, AEW is going 2 a month at this point, at this rate. So they're pumping them out right now. We could get a lot of matches on paper from Danielson. Obviously, we don't know his health concerns or how long he could go if he wants to drop the title and just be done. But
Right.
for all we know, he could keep going because he's a machine and he's one of the best wrestlers ever. So I think we still have so much time and so much leeway on where this could go. Like you said, I think Moxley, this new feud and this new faction is still just warming up. We're still getting introduced to what's going on. And I like what they're doing with Wheeler Yuta too. I think this is going to build Wheeler into where he should have been a long time ago when the whole Wheeler Yuta tribe was kind of going into full overdrive. So I'm really excited for this, but I think it's going to be Danielson retained because I think we just have so much time left in the year.
I mean, we don't have too much time. There's only really 2 months
I mean,
left?
yeah, that's a lot of time in wrestling.
I guess you're right. I mean, that's, about 8 weeks of television? Yeah.
And about 17 pay-per-views for AEW.
I don't hate what Great Brown Hope's saying, because this is something Danielson would do. Win, and then just relinquish the title. But he has gone on record saying, like, whoever beats me, I'm done.
That would be a letdown. I think that would be a letdown.
Do you want to address this? Because it's a
No.
one-way street.
Mr. Hot Sauce Bill Moss, I have thrown a lot of disses at Kine. I am very tired, and I'm not putting up with Kine's stuff tonight. So, no, we've had our bromances, we've had our issues, and we've laid it all on the line.
I'm tired. I worked hard at school.
And I work with fucking children. You should have just went CM Punk right there, Ian.
I'm tired. I'm old, and I work with fucking children.
And I podcast with fucking children. That's how you should have said it. Missed opportunity there for sure. But Ian and I are going with Bryan Danielson. Tuck's going to have some fun. He's going with Jon Moxley to end the career of Bryan Danielson. You want to see a man's career end. How does that make you feel?
I am choosing violence.
Fair enough. Yeah. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The point of the show where we have to give out the MVM of OTM, the most valuable mark. We discussed it in the private chat. He doesn't need much of an introduction, but he is coming in hot, and I'm talking like hot sauce hot, onto the scene here in the OTM community. Ladies and gentlemen, and still MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Saucy Bill Moss.
I like the name. It's a great name.
A guy shows
almost
up.
As good as Dirk.
Bell to bell,
You
He's
guys
a guy that can
hot.
go the distance. Yeah,
there was great. A lot of quality comments tonight. Kine, Bill, and the Great Brown Hope were like the three-headed monster in the chat tonight. Ian, it's okay. We're in a good place now. That's great to hear. Glad to hear that. Bill Moss clapping it up in the chat. You also love to see that. So yeah, appreciate you guys as always for joining us live, especially since we had to do this an hour later than usual. We didn't have to do it. We wanted to do it.
We got to do it an hour later. I certainly did.
Thank you for correcting me, Tuck. I feel like I've been talking a lot tonight, guys. So I'm going to let you guys do the outros here. So if you see something pop up on the screen, tell them what to do. Tucky.
On the markwrestlingpodcast.com, you know what to do. Go to your favorite internet browser, punch that in, and fill up your cart with all the goodies. Once you do that, head to that cart, enter code DREAM. That's going to save you 10%. Really appreciate that. Ian, what's up? What's up with this QR code right here?
Oh, you mean the one that's right above you? Oh, the one that's blocking my entire vision, and the one that Tucky can just peer around. Well, that's going to help you and lead you straight into the WWE shop, where you could purchase the merch that you absolutely love, made by professionals. We're not Oh, it's back. It's made by professionals of the WWE. You're going to buy your WWE merch. You might as well support us while you're at it. Just clicking on that link and buying your merch directly helps us. And that money goes every dollar that we make, every cent that we make, comes straight back here into the production. Everything, it's not free. None of this is free. It's free for me, but it's not free for these guys up here.
It doesn't have to be free for you. We can arrange.
Eventually, Ian said he'll get there. Eventually, Ian, you are going to start to contribute to this podcast because it's a three-way podcast here. That didn't sound right. Pause.
Oh.
We've been going for a while when that happens. But guys, don't forget, there's a lot of fun things happening over at the Main Event Wrestling Network. Make sure you're following us on the network at mainevent_net. And make sure you're following the podcast, the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, at Pod on the Mark, on all the socials. We also are on TikTok, which when you see those clips that we send out every single week, that is courtesy of Opus Pro, OPUS.pro. If you guys are interested in creating those clips, maybe you got your own podcast and you're like, how does OTM do it? We let Opus do all the work. So we have ourselves an affiliate link. If you go to our X account at Pod on the Mark, you click on the link tree, you will find in that link tree a QR code that will take you directly to Opus, and you will get a discount on your first month of using their platform. We are now an official affiliate of Opus Pro. So not only are we an affiliate with the WWE shop, not only are we partners with the Main Event Wrestling Network, not only are we affiliates with Opus Pro, actually, yeah, that's it, guys.
Yeah,
Three
yeah,
men
I was-
with many partners.
We got a lot.
Some call it a
Three men.
three-way.
A menage a trois of sorts.
Nope.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, that is it. Isn't that the literal definition of a menage a trois?
I
Nope.
think you're.
Am I thinking?
I think you're thinking of. I'm not going to say that one.
Yeah. Let's Tucky send us home. It's been too long.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a time to be alive and enjoy all of the great wrestling. After discussing some of the matches, I think my 3 went up to a 4 on the excitement scale
I'll
for
join you there.
AEW WrestleDream. We are talking ourselves into it. Excited could be a pay-per-view to get the fan base back. And
Time to play the game.
That scared me.
I hate it here.
All right, Tucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Until next time, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Podcast.